about database on YouTube. If you like it, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if there are any mistakes or you feel need to improve, then you can add your comments. And one thing more, if you have any query about database, then you can ask anything. We are here just like a friend, so no restrictions. Okay, so it's my first lecture about database. We will cover each and everything which the database needed to be covered, and there are many more lectures. It's the first. I hope all of you will enjoy, and apart from enjoying, you people will come to know that what is database and many more things, and we'll have a fun. Okay, so we have objective to be covered. Okay, first thing we will see what is the definition of database. Second thing we will see what is DBMS, means database management system. After that, pros and cons of database to file management system. File management system, we know that it's a file management system, but initially we have old system, so of course it's updated one. And what are fields and tuples in database? Entities, types of database. So okay, so definition of database. What is database? As I said, it is organized collection of data which can easily access, update, delete, and managed. Database actually everywhere. Whenever we enter in the field of technology and of course digital world, everything where the data is stored, it's database. It helps us to access, update, delete, manage data. Of course, if I give examples like school management system, you have a records, your attendance, your ID, your old students, new students entry, your teachers, staff, everything which is need to be stored. Of course, where the data stores, it's in management system. Like old management system, just paperwork was there. But when we enter into the era of technology, we meet everything is digital. Of course, so of course, we have a database. After that, we have banks, where the bank's transaction stores, and every day we did a trillion of transactions, so where that transaction goes on, it's of course database. Library management system, how many books are owned, how many books will be added into your catalog, and which categories. If suppose if I talk about computer science, of course there are a lot of subjects like database, networking, automata, compiler, graphics, and a lot more. So of course these things need to be maintained. Categories, how many books were issued to students, how many books are remaining, IDs, each and everything. So where these things stored, police station, how many criminals came, old record, their IDs, their laws, railway station, airlines, each and everything which is need a data, which requires a data. What is data? Of course, data is a raw fact and figure. That's every one of us know. What is database management system? Database management system are computer software application that creates and manage database. Of course, where the database store in database management system, it provides a comprehensible way to create, update, and retrieve data. It helps us to create whenever we want to create a database. Here I am talking about database. So where the database stores, what is the medium? It's basically a medium. It's a platform which allow us to create, update, and retrieve database. Apart from that, we can do editing and a lot of things such as Oracle, which is very famous nowadays, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, FoxPro, and RDBMS. Initial file management system, of course, from when the data exists, of course. So there are platforms which stores the data. File management system is nothing but just used to manage file. Is basically collection of records stored on a storage medium like hard disk. So it's a medium, like we store data. It's a medium basically. Initially, we had an old file management system which requires time to continue the data, which requires the time for managing the data when our data gets matched, merged. So of course, all these things require a time. So easy, it was easy way to store data, but insecure as well as hard to maintain. Of course, if I have thousands of students in my database of single names, suppose there is a John name in my computer thousands time. So where I can search which John I'm talking about, is it a John of California? Is it a John of San Francisco, or is it a John of other country? So of course it's hard to maintain, and it's, though it was easy, just need to copy paste, or sometimes we need to enter our data, but in sense it was difficult to search. It wasn't secure at all. More redundant data, as I said before, one name many times, one class many times, of course that need a time to maintain. As I said before, databases everywhere. So here's just animation which helps you to understand more. Facebook is all over our databases basically everywhere. None of the site is complete without database. Facebook has trillion of people which are engaged with where their record store, of course, its database. Twitter, every social site, every industry. Apart from that, our educational institute, everything is engaged with database. Application of database, of course, banking, school, college, universities, as I said before, educational institute, websites, e-commerce, of course. How can I forget e-commerce? If we talk about database and e-commerce doesn't come, it's not possible. So basically, e-commerce, in where we can perform online shopping, and apart from that online shopping, we purchase books, dressing, shoes, each and everything. So e-commerce, so of course, where that record stores, where the new customers come, where were the old customer who we need to give a new offer. So where the data stores, it's only stored in database. Airlines, your new passenger came and you have to book a flight. You suppose you have you want to check that how many flights are available for California, how many flights are available for China, Beijing. So of course all these records are stored in database, and we can check that yeah, these online these websites are booked and these are remaining. Pros and cons of file management to databases. I may explain to you database. Apart from that, I've explained you file management. So of course, what are the pros and cons? In of course, general way, less secure. File management is general way and it's less secure. And in database, we have high secure constraint. File management, we have redundant data. I've given you example of John. Similar is the way a lot of examples. Suppose you are one flight and it's available in multiple platforms. Of course, how can we maintain the data, that is it now available or not? And in database, we don't have redundant data, because each and everything, when new things come, all things get automatically updated. And here we have option for delete also. Multiple files and formats, data isolation, we have available in database. In general file management all system, we don't have any automaticity. Here we have automaticity of update. We can update data. Suppose I want to update name John to Raman, and from Raman to Alex, and Alex to Nikita. Of course, here we have a lot of options. And in all file management system, difficulty to accessing data, of course it's difficult. A lot of data stored in your computer. How could you access? I have two schools data in my computer. It's become uphill task for me to manage. But in database, you have separate database entities records, which entities records, of course, at first video it's difficult to understand, but in this video I will explain you what are tuples. Don't need to be worried about. And difficulty in accessing data and easy to access. Security constraint, it's secure database. Database is secure in a sense that If your data is secure, it's secure at a platform in computer, your files can get corrupted, or sometimes files are not opening. So of course you said, oh my gosh, my data is lost, but don't worry, you have database. So as I said, I'll explain you what are fields. So fields, attributes, and columns. These are basically similar. Like if you are talking about student database, of course, student has ID, student has name, email, and CGPA. So basically, fields are the columns which specify the characteristics of someone. If I talk about if I talk about, okay, if here the student, if I talk about customer ID, customer name, your bank account, your CNIC, these things need to be added. So these are fields. And what are tuples are records. And row, of course, rows which shows the data is about. Here I've mentioned as the student ID is 42, student name, age, email, and CGPA I've mentioned. I hope it's very clear. Next, entity. Entity is singular, identifiable, and of course separate object, like teacher, student, department. Teacher, like teacher is separate entity. Teacher has name, teacher has ID. No, sorry, teacher has name, teacher has ID and name. Apart from that, teacher has qualification, teacher has designation, and student, of course, student ID, name, CGPA, year, session. Department has, of course, both student ID, teacher ID. And there are different relationships which I'll explain further. Types of database, of course, first we have relational database, like item. If I talk about any product, so of course item, customer has ID, customer ID, which I explained from CID, item has ID, and order ID, or and of course order has item ID and customer ID, of course. Okay, further traditional database like airline, educational institute, as I explained you before. And apart from that, multimedia database, picture, video clips, audio, where all these things stored, where our data stores. Of course, if you are using any social site, Facebook, Twitter, or you are having a blog, so where your data stores, where they come to know about your priority. Of course, multimedia, real-time database, industries, stock exchange, like the currency rate increases, the currency rate decreases, industries, of course, that store in real time. It's real at the spot. And if I talk about geographic information system, GIS, so maps, satellites, and weather is continuously updating. Satellites, of course, all these things needs to be maintained. I hope it's clear now. I tried my best to explain as it's my first video, so I've given some jerks while explaining, but I will try to improve. And is there any mistake? Of course, there can be, so you have a full right to tell that what are the mistakes. I hope you enjoyed it as I enjoyed. And there are a lot of things about database which I will mention in my upcoming videos. And at the end, before goodbye, just I want to say that don't forget to thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.